We recognized some years ago that if your interest was women's rights or reproductive rights or the environment or education, healthcare, whatever it might be, if we lose democracy, everything's gone. And so we formed, we're in our just beginning our fourth year for Floridians for Democracy. We have both a 501(c)(3) and a C4. The C3 is involved with education, the C4 on action. And our focus is really to be supportive of other organizations, but also provide some great educational programs. But we're heavily focused on the rule of law and the weakening of it. We're heavily focused on what we see right now as horrendous cruelty that is going on in Florida and around the nation, certainly the detention centers and the way people are being arrested, and especially this is not the arrests of the worst of the worst. We're also opposed to this anti-vax situation. We do believe in individual rights, but when individual rights are basically destroying the health and well-being of a community, which is what many of us that are my age know from our childhood, the scare and the concerns of polio and many of the issues now like measles that are supported by vaccines. We cannot go back to that era. We are also targeted on many of the state issues that are going on. One of our board members, Bob Schaefer, is a political analyst, and he provides talking points and support education systems of what's going on in Tallahassee for us. Another board member is Howard Simon, who was over 40 years involved with ACLUs, both in Michigan and Florida, and very, very active in his editorial writing and speaking out on major issues. We are trying to provide as best we can, like many of you, one-click advocacy with talking points on important issues. And we'll be supporting, even in March, a state organization based out of Venice, but Social Justice Alliance of Florida. And they're doing a program called Save Democracy for All. Last year, they did the Right to Read program. But what we want to do is help them take it on a statewide basis. And the same thing goes with our work with the Sanibel League of Women Voters that have three wonderful programs coming up. One on immigration and the current status of that. One on Trump 2.0 and what's happened over the last year and where the heck might Trump 2.0 year two go. And a third one on the freedom of the press. So their programs are based on Sanibel, but we'll be also taking them and developing statewide programs. It's easy to get depressed over the speed of the gerrymandering, the captured judiciary, intimidation of dissent, pitting neighbor against neighbor. This has been a multi-decades long effort to basically get to a unitary executive and dismantle the checks and balances that our founding fathers created for us. So it's easy to get depressed. We had a speaker last spring, founder of Lawyers Defending American Democracy. And in my first conversation with him, he said, we are sleepwalking into autocracy. That is what's happening. And as one of the national legal experts, Joyce Vance, reminds us, we shouldn't be waiting for a savior to do this. We have to educate ourselves. We have to inform others. We have to organize together. And so I think that's what this effort is. How do we, at any level, we can make a difference getting this non-American kinds of things that we should all be embarrassed about. So the long-winded way of reinforcing all these things can add up. There are no guarantees for success, but there is guarantee for failure, and that's doing nothing.